Amazing. Hey guys, this is our second day of what's it called? Evolution in finance. Um, Yesterday was like mind blowing, irrespective of the network issue and NEPA issue that is peculiar to us as Nigerians. It was an awesome time yesterday, and today we have the first and the only lady of this summit. Um, I don't want to say too much about KarlaGod, but if she's going to be here to speak and then to teach us, it means she's worth it because I've seen her from the beginning grow, and then the growth has been very, very consistent. When you hear her speak, you will know she's not just speaking from what she read in the book. You will know she's speaking from experience. She's a multi-talented person. She makes rap music, she makes all type of music, and then she understands the finance industry. And I want you to be calm and patient to listen to all these things. I will not say too much so I don't spill beans and spoil the entire excitement for you guys. But I would like Emmanuel to say one or two things about KarlaGod and introduce KarlaGod, and then we go into today's session. Emmanuel, do your thing.
All right. Good evening, everyone. So, in today's session, we are going to be discussing SaveFi. So, our guest speaker, KarlaGod, will be taking us on SaveFi. So, this is going to help you improve your financial lifestyle. She's going to be teaching you the necessary things you need to understand about a bit safe protocol. So she's actually a seasoned blockchain expert. So I believe you've got your writing materials ready as she's about to convey value such that you are not going to leave this event the same way you came. So make sure you sit tight, get your writing materials, and take down some notes as you are going to be learning a whole lot this evening. So you're welcome, Ms. KarlaGod. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. So over to
Yeah.
you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
KarlaGod, sorry to cut you in. Before you go in, I would like you to do a quick introduction of yourself. But before
Myself,
you
okay.
do a quick introduction of yourself, guys, if you are watching us here live on YouTube, I want you to comment I, because we want to be sure you are here and you are going to learn. Then let us know in the comment section what you want to take away today. What will be your biggest takeaway? Because first of all, you understand that the value of what we are going to dish out to you or what we're going to give to you is worth a whole lot of money, but then we have decided to give it to you for free. If you want anything specifically, put it in the comment section. That's number one. If you have questions from yesterday's session, put it in the comment section. And let us know where you have issues with, where you do not understand. You get me? So I sorry, KarlaGod, for cutting you in, but then Karla, introduce yourself so we can go on.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay.
You're welcome.
Okay. So my name is Carla God. Um, I'm Carla Obakolo. That's my birth name, and I'm Carla God as a rap artist, but I'm popularly known as that. So I'm popularly known as Carla God, and I'm a business developer in the blockchain space. I'm founder of two companies, Crypto Smart, which is an asset management company, and Clip, which is an NFT company. And apart from being a business developer, I'm also a music artist. I'm a rapper, specifically songwriter. So that's basically about me. So I'd like to talk about the. Sorry, I'm hearing a music background at the end. Is it me?
Yeah, yeah, continue.
Um,
It's from
but,
us.
uh,
Oh, okay.
maybe you can turn it down so it doesn't distract her.
Okay, no problem. Thanks. Okay, so we're talking about finance here, the evolution of finance, and basically we can't talk about the evolution of finance without talking about money. But then I think we should understand first what finance is. Finance is basically money management. That's it. Whether on a smaller scale or on a bigger scale, it is using money as a tool to achieve different goals. Yeah, different goals, different targets, and it's whether on a big scale, on a lot, on a large scale, whether on a micro level, which is maybe your personal finance, finance for your small business or so, or whether it's on a macro level, finance for governments or finance for multi international, organizations. So basically, finance is just the management of money. So when you look at what management is basically like, from my own standpoint, because I studied business management in school, it's effective and efficient use of whatever resources that you have as a person to achieve your goals. Now, when you look at effectiveness has to do with doing the right thing. So let's say you want to get from here to Lagos. um I'm in Port Harcourt, so I want to get from here to Lagos. An effective way would be to hire, like, go through. I can go through bus. I can go through flights. You get. So now I have to think about how much do I have. Now, if I have, let's say, 15,000 naira, an effective use of that money would be to, use bus, not flight. It will not be enough. So resources now come into play, and an efficient way. Efficiency means doing the right thing, without waste. That's doing the right thing in the right manner. If I wanted to use, bus, I wouldn't go with certain just roadside buses that are going to Lagos because it's free, because it's probably cheaper. I would go to a park, an actual park. So in putting these things together, you making use of my money effectively and efficiently to achieve whatever goal that I want to achieve, which is going to Lagos, safe and sound and all. Now, pay attention to these two things because they're important: effective and efficiency. So I'll define finance as the effective and efficient use of money to achieve different goals, whether on a macro level or on a micro level. However, it's the end point is the goal. It is what you want to, achieve. Now, to look at the finance area, you have to look at. We've talked about what it is. We will talk about basically how it's being done, during the conversation. Now, we need to talk about why, like, why finance. Money is, okay. Talk about why finance. I've talked about what money is. Now, money is, when you ask people what money is, basically in school, what they thought of something that is acceptable, as a legal tender, is divisible. It can be divided into little amounts. It's generally accepted, so it's not about just the notes, and it has value. It's a store of value. It should increase in value. If we look at how money should be in the previous times when we started with the gold standard, it increased in value because it was backed by something. But money today isn't backed by anything. Now, you need to understand this aspect of money very well as we continue. So there are three things you can do with money right now. So the transactional activities you can do with money. So then you hear about keeping money for emergency reasons, and then saving money for future purposes or for specific reasons. And then you talk about the store of value. That was because money was supposed to increase in value, but I don't understand why they've not changed that in our curriculum, because you can't put money in that area. It's not a store of value today. You can't put it in the assets column because inflation has set in our time. So, looking at what money is, it is best to be described or accepted as a tool for solving certain for meeting certain goals than as an asset. Now, the reason, if you look at rich people, poor people, people who are rich want to control money. People who are not so rich want to just have money. And it's not about whether you have cars or you have houses or so. People who really understand money, they just want to control it. They want to have it consistently, coming consistently, like the supply coming consistently. And then immediately they're always ready to buy assets always using it to have assets that they can liquidate when they need cash. Any current cash that you see is for a certain thing, probably for expenses or to finance certain aspect of the businesses that they have or assets that they have. So look at money as a tool and not as the foundation. Here, I think that's how I put it. Look at it as something that you use to get something, not the end. It's look at it as the road, hence sort of destination, not the destination itself. So what you want to, since we're talking about the evolution of money, I'm trying to let you know that money has gone from a point where it's just being stored, to where you have to use it. You just don't keep it. You have to use it to get assets, to get people's loyalty, to get. I mean, we're seeing a lot of things happen in our day. So look at money from that standpoint, to understand finance. First of all, we said I define finance as the effective and efficient use of money to achieve certain goals, either on a micro or on a macro level. Okay, good. So we've talked about the money aspect. You can basically do any research later on Google on the evolution of money, but that's not today's topic, so I won't dwell so much of it. So I want to talk about how money works in today's world before I start talking about crypto and blockchain. So in today's world, I think I don't know if I can drop a link. Okay, later on I will drop it. You can just follow me on Twitter, KarlaGod. I'll drop it later on. So the what's his bank name? The this I think it's not the IMF. There's this Bank of England actually. They published an article I think in 2014 about how money is created in today's world. If you study money, you find out that there's M1, no sorry, M0 to M4, M4, M3. Different companies, different economic institutions have showed there's M0 to M4. M0 refers to the amount of money in circulation. I think M1 has to do with the amount of money in circulation plus the amount of deposits that are in the banks. And then M3 is amount of that's M1 plus M0 plus the amount of digital money available. Now, I think that should be M3. There's M4. I'll remember what M4 is later on. So you find out that digital money has it holds a large portion of what money is in today's world. You get it's not money is not created by like what they teach us in school. Yeah, they say okay, the banks create loans and then they give the loans to businesses to do business, and then the businesses pay back interest. You get that's what we were taught in school growing up. I hope that curriculum has changed because that's not how money is in today's world. I think it was like that 50 years ago or probably like 100 years ago when it was still pegged to gold. But right now that it isn't, it's basically it's just not that. The way money is created in today's world is by debt, is by owing, by loans, not loans like we think of. Give you an example. Every bank has something called is it fractional reserve? I think it's fractional reserve. If bankers are on this time, then you can let me know. Where you don't need to spend if somebody deposits $100 or 100,000 naira, you don't need to you don't need to keep all that 100,000 naira. You can loan out a certain amount. That a certain amount of that 100,000. I think usually 80%. So you can keep 20%. So that 20% is called some reserve ratio. Yeah, that 20% is called the reserve ratio for the banks. Now, what happens with money in our world today is if somebody comes to borrow money, some sort of loan, because of the digital nature of money, because of the introduction of M3, because of the digital nature of money, all that just happens is figures are changed in somebody's account. No new money is being made. No, there's no new money being paid to you, being accrued to you. A certain figure is just changed in a certain place. And if you look at this, I think I'll release an article on this very soon, maybe today or tomorrow. If you look at this structure of money, you'd find out why we have inflation. Find out why it's not sustainable. Basically, there's inflation will always be there because basically money is being printed from thin air. It's done by the banks. It's an irony, but it's done. It's done by them. That's how the banks create money. And that hundred, let's say you ask for $100, figures are just changed. It's not like there was no any new cash printed or any gold, new gold that was deposited into the treasury to give you a certain amount of that loan. No, figures are changed, and then you go and spend those figures. Those figures exist now on that person's um, 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 account balance. Say you want to do business, you send probably $50 out of that $100 to another person's account. Now that $50 that goes into another person's account, the bank can loan out. So 10% of $50 is $10. Okay. The banks can loan out $40 and still keep $10. You get that $40 is basically debt because it was borrowed from somewhere. No new value was put in to give this other person value. Figures were just changed. Now, follow me here. The same $40 that exists on that person's account, the bank can borrow it out to another person. Now, so it's like borrowing money out of thin air, creating money out of thin air, receiving interest on it back. That it's basically just digits. So the first thing you need to start understanding in today's world, forget whatever it is that you learned in social studies that year in primary school. And I think they tried to teach us this thing in university, but a lot of us not paying attention. So forget these things that they taught us, then. Money is just figures and it is run by debt. When you understand it, then you can understand investments, then you can understand savings, and then you can understand why a lot of us are Bitcoin maximalists. Okay, so I've talked about I've talked about why finance management is important. Now, for you to know why finance management is important, you need to understand first that money is figures. Look at it from the banking standpoint, from the stock exchange standpoint, from the stock market, whatever kind of market it is, it's figures, and it's something that's printed from thin air. That's why if you watch any real rich person, not just rich in properties, but people who understand stuff about money, they don't want to hold cash for too long. Their accountants are on book. Money comes in, they need to invest it in something, because this paper, this amount of cash that we have, this guy, it's just paper. It's the thing that gives it any value is us. It's what you, and it's not just because it's naira. Even to the dollar. I mean, look at what Russia is doing. Look at what other countries are doing. Even to the dollar, anything that's not backed by gold, that's not backed by any real asset, are just printed out of out of mere faith. Mere faith that people have in the system. It will fail one day because there's nothing backing it at all. So this is just paper. This is a legal tender, something we can give to somebody to receive money back. And then in the digital form, it's just numbers. And the digital form makes 93 or 96% of what money is in today's world. So whatever you knew about money before, I think I have to use the article because I feel like I'm sounding gibberish to some people. Whatever you knew about money before and now is quite different, because at the times when they taught us about money, they didn't factor in M3, the digital aspect of it, the money that exists in book balances and accounting balances. It's basically just figures. So understand this thing first. So don't think of money as just when a lot of Nigerians say, this guy get money, he's rich, and then 2 years later one economic thing happens and all his wealth is destroyed completely. Don't think of money like that. Think of it as a tool, something you can use something you need to use to get what you want, and something you need to use to build assets, because that's where the major money is. Something that helps you build some sort of um, um, processing I must say processing units, or processing structures to keep making money, basically. And that's why a lot of people want to go into businesses, own businesses, small businesses and large businesses, so that the supply can come in consistently. It's the reason some of the politicians will not play their task force. It's the reason some of the politicians will not play with task force, with road transport, with transport. All those things that they put in place to make sure that money is coming in. We see them. It is because of that thing. That's control of money, to have a steady supply. You get. Okay. So we're going to talk about supply of money very soon. So now, Now let's talk about blockchain, about Bitcoin. The reason we have a lot of Bitcoin maximalists, and the reason a lot of bankers, economics, they're kind of like against Bitcoin, and a lot of them also accept it because they understand this game. They understand this game of debt, of the debt structure. You need to owe people to make money. The banks need to issue out loans to make money, not because of the interest, but because that's how money is being created. So, yeah, I have to send that article. All right, because that's how money is being created. Now, normal economic law of supply and demand. What happens is we say supply is variable. We say demand is a variable. Is it variable I'm looking for? Okay, not yes, variable. And price is a variable. Now, increase in supply would lead to a decrease in price, and then probably decrease in demand. But increase in demand, and let's say supply is fixed and then demand is increased, uh, means price will increase. So price and demand are, what's that word? That's that mathematical directly proportional, yeah, to each other. Now, supply can go up or go down. And if supply now the way our monetary system works, the government can increase supply. Whoever controls supply controls money. That's why I keep telling you that a lot of rich people want to control money as per the supply. They want to keep having it. So whoever controls the supply of money controls money, right? Now the government can play with supply. They can basically that's what our monetary system, monetary policies and fiscal policies are about. That's just basically what they're about. Trying to either reduce the supply of money in the economy or increase the supply of money in the economy so that they can trigger price increase or price decrease and demand increase or demand decrease. What blockchain does, what crypto does, what Bitcoin, let me just say crypto, what Bitcoin does is it keeps supply fixed. Demand and price can do whatever it is that they want. So the market is purely controlled by that the Bitcoin price, what other crypto asset price, is purely controlled by market forces. Now I'll focus more on Bitcoin. I'll tell you later why um, I'm not saying crypto. The market price and demand can do whatever it is that they want. Bitcoin has decided there would only be 21 million BTC, and the reason that can happen is because of the blockchain infrastructure. It can't be changed. Nobody can come and do anything. You can't take anything away from the network. So for you to understand this aspect, you need to really understand what blockchain is. I think if you go to my Twitter, KarlaGod, I pinned a post there and look at the part that has to do with blockchain education and follow the link to the website to show you you'll be able to read everything on blockchain. It's highly technical, but they also try to break it down. There's an explain like I'm five section ELI 5, yeah, ELI 5, so you can begin to understand what blockchain is. The reason there will only be 21 million BTC in this world is because it's on the blockchain infrastructure, and the way it is, you can't edit anything, you can't take from it, you can only add to it. So you can fork the Bitcoin blockchain to get fork FORK. It's a word that has to do with, like, think of it like duplicating or creating something out of something that already existed in the DLT structure, in the distributed ledger system. So when I say you can fork the blockchain, I mean like you can copy it, hack and paste it, and create something similar to the mother chain. Okay, so for the Bitcoin blockchain, you can only create something out of it. You can't edit whatever it is that's already been there. And that's the simplest way I can put it. That's why there's nothing we would do. There would only be 21 million BTC. So supply is fixed. That's what blockchain does. Keep supply fixed, and then demand and price can go and do whatever it is that they want. That's why if you're creating any new token or whatever in the code, because these things are basically just codes, supply is fixed. That's the difference. That's the pure difference between this kind of money, because this kind of money, this is in M3 digital aspect. But the difference is that these digits they can't be edited, they can't be changed. It's either you make it infinite or you make supply fixed. And even those kind of coins like Ethereum and BNB that have infinite supply have a burn mechanism to reduce the supply that is in circulation, not the ones that we're holding, but the ones that are being minted through the different processes. Sorry, through the different processes. So the that's basically the difference. The economic, so that thing makes it such that whatever manipulation that's happening in the market, money has to be put into it. If you want to manipulate the price of Bitcoin, there's calculation that you have to do. There's amount of money you have to put into the market to make Bitcoin to go to $60,000. There is amount of money that needs to be pumped out of the market to make it drop. So the thing is, whoever it is that is going to make any manipulation has to put money into the system, which also gives an area for traders to make money. If you can read the market, you will make money. If you can't read the market, you will lose money. So it's different from our normal system where somebody can use a pen to make to when I mean a pen, I mean figuratively. You can use a what's it called, a digital pen kind of to change the figures in a certain account to another account. You get, in the crypto aspect, that cannot work. Supply is fixed. So if something is leaving somebody's account, the blockchain structure records that this particular amount of BTC left this person's account and appeared here. So you can have something called, and that was the problem that Bitcoin blockchain solved, double spending. You can have the problem of double spending in our economy, not just Africa, even the US economy. In fact, everything I'm talking about today is about the US economy, US dollar. It is, we have the problem of double spending. That's why a lot of times people will ask you, do you know how much US dollar is in circulation? How much was printed, in 2020? People will ask some certain kind of um, I need to use that article. Some certain kind of Bitcoin maximalists would ask that question because supply is important in the control of money, in the control of price and demand. You get, whatever is happening with inflation, it's basically because of supply. You get, so in the blockchain space, there's a flip. Supply is fixed. That alone discombobulates. You see, discombobulates. That alone destroys the area to destroys the agenda to like, no, I won't call it agenda, this, the opportunity, yeah, to allow double spending work in the economy. So that's the difference between that's our normal traditional system, our normal M3 system of money in today's world, and the blockchain space. All right. So I've talked about that aspect. We talked about the difference. Now let's talk about money management. Basically, we talked about money. We talked about how money is created in today's world. It's quite different from what our parents are used to, and that's why the inflation kind of like hits them harder than it does us. Because a lot of us in our generation, we understand this thing. We were born into this thing, so you understand basically the whole processes. Now let's talk about how to basically protect yourself from this whole aspect. um, um, I'm going to go get a bit personal here. So we'll talk about personal finance first. Now, on this level, we've understood how money is created in today's world. It's basically created through debt system. The blockchain aspect is quite different. Now, how do you get into the blockchain evolution? Because this is the real evolution of money, right? We've come from money that is created by debt to one that's backed by technology. And I think I usually say that every new money creation in our world was due to some sort of technological socio-economic kind of revolution. For example, when we talk about the earliest money systems, they're mostly tailored to agricultural based money systems. And so you hear about cowries, you hear about how people use some sort of stones, some sort of rare stones as money. So I had some people use pearls, as money because pearls were hard to come by and they were really, really very. So all these things are basically agricultural based. So when man discovered gold, and this is old, old, old. I'm not talking of even 1,000 years ago. I'm talking of get back to the Egyptian period, even before the Egyptian time. So it's that old. So after finding out about agro-based money system, we found gold, and gold kind of came into the same system. Now it didn't mean that we completely threw away those other aspects. It took a while before people stopped using cowries as money, before people stopped using pearls and all those other um, agro-based minerals or values as valuables as money. So gold came, and people started using gold, and gold has stood through centuries because basically it can't rust, can't be destroyed. It's like matter. It can only be converted from one form to another. You can either lose it or use it. You can basically destroy it. You can turn it to anything. You can melt it. So it's durable. You get so it has that thing of money. It has that these features here exactly of money. So going from the gold standard to our world in, let's say, before paper money came. Now paper money was backed by gold. If you checked the US dollar, then was basically paper. What was printed on it was that you could remit, if it was $20 I was giving to you, you could remit $20 worth of gold. That's, you could take this to the bank. It's like, was it basically a receipt? Take it to the bank and get $20 worth of gold, because gold was the main thing. The paper was just like a representation of the main thing, and to make it easy for people to go from one place to another, without having to carry heavy gold and all that stuff. And it was discounted. That discount is called cyanide, for creating the paper, itself, because the cost of creating the paper was less than the value that was printed on the paper. So, if a $20 note was printed, probably was printed at probably $5, and then the bank makes $15. Okay, let me not be too bad. Let's say it's printed at $15. So the bank makes $5 for every $20 note that was printed. You get. So now, coming from that aspect to technology, there was something called the bank runs that happened at one point, I think before the First World War. And we got to see that we needed to form a digital system of money, basically to just move records. You get. Now, when you understand this, you understand that whatever personal finance decision you're going to take from today's world about money, you need to approach it like it is just figures. It's very important what I'm saying, because I'm going to go to investments and SaveFi, how they are different. The aspect of investments and savings are two different things. Investment is looking at money as figures. You want to increase the amount of figures that you have by doing real things, and then putting those figures back into the money, into whatever process it is, whatever business it is that's making you cash. Now, you're not those investments areas that you're looking at, the output is money, but the end product is not money. The end product that you want is consistent supply of money. That's it. Savings, on the other hand, is putting money together for a specific purpose. You're putting money together to spend it. It's not to grow it. If you're looking at growing it, then inflation will really eat into your savings. Savings is putting money together to spend it on a particular thing, whatever it is. It could be business, it could be a wedding, it could be a new property, it could be your children's future, school fees, like they have college funds and all that stuff. That's what savings is for. If you don't understand what savings is for, you will lose it to investments. In investments, there is risk. You must lose money. It's a given. Now, the losing money doesn't mean that, oh, you just throw away money. No. It means that there are certain factors that can happen that will make whatever it is that you have put in to diminish. It could be inflation. It could be hiring bad staff. It could be the market activity or whatever it is. But just know that investment and savings are two different things. If you don't treat them like that, you will always lose valuable money that you need to use to do something. You will always lose it. Now, you don't approach cryptocurrency trading or blockchain space. You don't approach it. That's if you want to come in, excuse me, if you want to come into this space as an investor, you don't approach it with the mindset of a saver. You approach it with the mindset of an investor. That's how you approach it. If you want to save money, don't put it into crypto. Put it into a stable coin. And that's where SaveFi comes in. Now, SaveFi is basically being helping people. It's called savings and finance. That's what it's called, savings and finance. So it's basically helping people in Africa, because our target market is Africa, not the US, because they use dollar. What we're trying to do is help people convert their normal fiat to dollar, and help them put it in a protocol that can give them some sort of interest. The interest is quite small, it's not so much. But because you are saving for a particular purpose, to actually spend it, you get, not because you want to make so much money out of it. You will make money out of it because of how the protocol works, but you're putting it for a certain thing. So the algorithm is done in such a way that there's a time frame. We're saving money for 6 months, saving it for 1 year. You can actually even also make on repeated deposits. So it's more like a technological kind of account system for you to use, for you to keep money for a certain period and avoid inflation. That's what we're trying to do. Basically, help people avoid the inflation that is in our African system. It's not as if we know the US dollar has 9% inflation and it keeps growing, it's still growing. So well, let's not trick ourselves. It's not like we don't know that. But our own inflation system is higher than theirs. So when you keep saving money in Naira or in whatever currency that you are, that's like 28% inflation that you're already having on your savings happening, you know, by the hour. You get, so we were building a system to help people put their money in the US dollar. We're not saying it's any better. It's all basically just um, how money is. It's not any better because itself is not backed by gold, but it is the lesser it is the lesser evil basically. Let me put it like that. So we've been doing this on a manual, you know, level, helping people save their businesses who send us naira, so we send them dollar. You know, we help them put their money in a stable coin. We send it to their wallet. We're not holding your cash. Send it to their wallet to keep it. And later on when they're converting, inflation has increased. Rates that was at 400 a certain time ago is now around 600. So people who save their money in dollars since that period till now are actually reaping the benefits. Inflation has not affected them so much because even though we know price of the goods have increased, but not as much as the rates as inflation has increased. So at least there's some sort of safeguard for them to work on. So that's basically what your SaveFi is. Being able to use that, still get money management with your savings. Now it's different from investments. Investment, on the other hand, is not as consistent as SaveFi. Investment has a different kind of trajectory and risk that come with it, whether it is investment in the crypto space or investment in a business that you are doing. You know that you're not going to make money for at least 1 year. First of all, even if you're somebody who will be trading, there are times when you will make losses. Even if you say it's betting that you want to be doing, and you bring out a certain amount of money to say, okay, for example, August, the Champions League, is it Champions League or Premier League? Your leagues, your football leagues, they are starting. Bet companies are going to be happy. They're already, gearing up, doing adverts, getting ready, and all that stuff. There are people who actually bring that money. That's their process. That's their level. That's how they make their money. Through the betting system. Now that's an investment on that area because they are aware of the risk. You can lose whatever it is that you're putting in, and there are rules to this thing. There's a way that the odds you play and all that stuff. That's for the betting aspect. Even in the markets, there are risks. There are leverages that you put in. You don't go into certain kind of leverage. You can lose this, you can lose this, you can get this back. You get that's for investment. If you're starting up a business, you know that you're going to be financing this business, paying staff salary, trying to win customers to your own end, trying to, pay for adverts and all. It takes like a year before you actually start making the real profit. That's investment. It has its own rules and it has its own risk. Savings, on the other hand, is specific. I want to do this thing by this year. Or even if you are saving for something that you're not sure whether it will happen, you're saving for your future. Probably you want to get married very soon. Maybe you want to get married in a year and you're saying, okay, I'm going to start putting money aside from this. You want to get to a new house, you want to start putting money aside from this. Probably because when you get married, you can't bring a woman and the child into a one bedroom. Yes, there needs to be a really good house and all. So for 1 year, you're saying I'm putting money aside for this thing. You're not about to start doing any risk with that thing. You're not about to remove it. And if you notice, people who use their savings to do stuff often lose it because they don't understand the differences between the two. Yet, so SaveFi is not an investment thing. It's strictly a savings thing. It's different from DeFi because on DeFi you want to make money. You are borrowing and leveraging and earning interest on the amounts that you borrow on a protocol. But on SaveFi, strictly just savings. Basically, helping you keep your how do I put it? Helping you keep your discipline. Being helping you put a structure together where you can consistently keep depositing, and then at a certain point in time you can withdraw everything and do what it is that you wanted with it. But the finance aspect there is effective and efficient. That's effective management of this money, such that you're not just don't put it into any sort of investment. So when people tell you, oh, invest your savings, no, don't do it. Separate savings from investment because you will cry. It's the truth. So you don't approach investments with savings. So on the protocol, we're not going to try to help you invest. No, not in that thing. We're not doing one backdoor rubbish that people do where they take money of people and then invest and try. No, it's basically just the protocol algorithms and everything. It's basically backed by maths. You invest, you put in this, you save it, you can withdraw at any time. You are just going to get rewards on your savings from another token, and that's how we set it together. So it's very different from DeFi. DeFi is more like an investment thing. SaveFi is a savings thing. So to understand both areas, you need to understand that there's a difference between savings and investment. And you don't use the rules from one for another because I guarantee you lose your money. Okay, I think that's all. I've been talking for like 40 minutes. So if there's any question or any comments at all, then yes, I'll respond. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hey, wow. Okay, Carla,
Yep.
I was holding my breath because, like I said in the comment section, this is some high end financial coaching. You don't get this. I know in sessions like this, people focus on giving some tips and sharing stories. In as much as sharing those stories work, what you have done is go deep, like cut off the story stuff and just go deep into the tactical stuff. And in as much as it might be hard for a lot of people, but this is a fintech niche. So if you think you don't know mathematics and you come here and you feel confused, fine, you should watch the video over and over. Now, I have a question. So
Okay.
it's not what you think. My question is, why would somebody begin to save money for marriage?
I don't know. I'm aware
No,
that
no.
people do it. I honestly
Um,
don't. I'm aware people do it. I'm aware
no,
people do
but
it.
for you to have for you to be popular, I don't know. Do you have any reason you have in your mind, like something you've thought that is the reason for people to save money for marriage?
Okay, I think it's a personal thing. Say if somebody has a salary structure and say they earn maybe 200K on a monthly basis, and they said okay, 50% of this amount of money is a large aspect of being an adult is being able to manage money properly. That's a large aspect of being an adult. You get being able to
Okay.
manage money properly. So if someone has said, I'm going to put in this amount of money every month, aside for the marriage thing that I'm going to do. He's being intentional. It's actually a cool thing. If he follows through, with it. If he doesn't halfway, there's one thing, and then takes out the money and put it stuff. At the end of the year, you've got 1.2 million naira. You get one. The problem is when that money is in naira. That's where the problem is. But if it
Yeah.
was in dollars, at least if at the end of the year, right now rate is at 620. If at the end of the year rate goes to 720, that's some interest that you made. Even though we know that interest is not much because the price of goods and services will rise to meet inflation. Even though we know it's not much, but at least it keeps you on a certain level. If someone wants to do that, it's intentional. I don't really think there's anything wrong about it. I think this is somebody who's just being intentional. And it now depends also on the
Listen.
kind of woman you have. Whoever it is that you have, should understand that this is how you are with money. So
or the
when
tribe, or the tribe.
or the child before you gotta meet where they give you bill and stuff.
Oh
So
my goodness.
okay, so
So
if the
so
lady
now that
understands,
that
okay,
this now leads me to this next question.
okay,
Now in a country like ours, even though the
yeah,
government and the institutions keep denying the fact that if we don't have we are not in inflation, or inflation does not affect us. I've noticed that when you save money in the bank, in 2 3 months your money has 40% less value. It's still the
yeah,
same amount
it
of money
does.
in the bank,
It does.
but when
We
you
have
take
28
it, it does
percent
it
inflation.
it 40% is gone completely.
Yeah,
It can't do anything for you. It doesn't have value.
true.
Is Why should that happen? And then what would you tell people, like in this era, we are in this
Okay.
country, we know
Mhm.
that the only people that will save our country is entrepreneurs, risk takers, creators, and investors that are not affiliated to the government or their institutions.
Yeah,
Now,
true.
because the government is not doing anything to solve this problem, I don't care who the person is, they are busy doing politics. What should people do? Like a tip. I'm not saying you should bring out all the secrets in your book, in your toolbox. Just a tip that could work.
Okay, what can work? Don't leave your money in there. Put it in the banks because I have a clear understanding of how the banks work, and they themselves they don't hold. That's why they have a reserve ratio. If you
Mm-hmm.
go and deposit money in the bank, it's liability to them. They are not looking to hold it. They are not. That's not what they're looking at. They want to immediately look
Yeah.
at businesses that they can put it into, and they have structures set up in place for that. They are also the ones that
Mm-hmm.
trade the market on a certain way. What you should do is convert whatever it is that you have to USDT. Buy USDT and keep it in your wallet. You have to get that. That's why we even select crypto smart. You have to get crypto smart. Don't buy any coin now. It's not yet time. Bitcoin is still doing a certain way. So all of us who are even in the market, but wait, all of us are tethering. Most of our money is in stable coins. Even the companies that we run, a lot of them are in stable coins. So a lot of companies today are not even putting money in naira. They are holding their savings in dollar. Like I said before, it's not like the dollar is any better. It still has this inflation thing, but it hedges against your own country's inflation. Because think about it, during the election, how much were they giving delegates? Was it in naira or in dollars? Was it not in dollars? This one I was telling
Well,
people.
it's crazy. And come to think of it, this thing doesn't happen as magic. It can only come through education. Like education, you have to
Yeah.
educate yourself. You have to read books. You have to listen to people like KarlaGod. You have to listen to people do things and watch the numbers. There's this saying in business that you can't grow what you cannot measure. You have to be able to know how
Yes.
much before you can say, oh, I want to grow it, or I want to reduce it, or I want to stop how I spend, or I want to change my spending pattern. You cannot. I am super excited for this session. Hello guys, do you have questions? Drop in your questions in the comment section. I we are actually, like I said, you can't grow what you don't measure. So we are measuring your charts, your comments, and everything, because there's a gift for you tomorrow. That if you are not sending in your messages, you are not sharing this video or this session, how would you even see something like this and not share it? For crying out loud. Do you hate your neighbor? Do you hate your brothers? Share this thing, for crying out loud. So I will all get educated, because the idea is educated. We've put in resources, we've run ads, we've paid for tools to go online, live. We've brought in speakers, and I'm twisted them to come show up here for free. And you don't want to share. You share these things for your own sake. Share these things so that you can create a group of people that you can have this conversation at a very deep level with. That way, what you don't understand and they understand, they could correct you and move with you. You understand? So this is a chance to ask questions. Get your questions coming in. Otherwise, I will tell KarlaGod bye bye tonight. KarlaGod, it's been a long time. Good to
Yeah,
see
it
you
has.
again.
It's good to
Good to
see
see you
you.
again. You're doing good. I will come. I'll come back channel you to teach me all this stuff.
No
All this
trouble. It's all
stuff.
good.
So I'll be fintech or financial smart or
Crypto
crypto
smart.
smart. So before we go, KarlaGod, Can you tell us
Yeah.
about your product? What are you working on? Tell us about it.
Okay, yeah, we're working on BitSafe protocol, and that's
Awesome.
basically SaveFi. Um, we just want to help people save money without all the BS. Because I'm in industry, I see things. I see how companies tell you, "Oh, come and save," and then there's a backdoor. There's just a backdoor. They take the money from the pool. And what you just see there is basically just UI digits. Digits. You see $1 million total value
Mhm.
locked in the protocol. So what we did is we changed the variables of we used the simple interest rates, and then rather than allow like the way the Fed arbitrarily set rates, because they
Yeah.
look at the monetary system and say, okay, maybe this has had much supplies in this system, and then they say, okay, rate has increased to this certain amount. What we did was make rates. We set factors that can make the algorithm calculate the rates. Now, you got the rates, those so some of those factors are constants, like the TVL, total value that is locked in protocol. And then we didn't look at volume, we looked at value. That's what we looked at, value. Then total supply of the interest token that will be paid, and then plus principal of whoever that is depositing and the time frame at which are depositing. So if it's months, you divide it by 12. So basically, it's maths. That's it. So we did that, and what we're doing right now is building the code, building the pseudo code, and basically testing on an internal level before we put it out there. And we're building this on the outbound blockchain. So I just want to help people save, funds without any of the BS. No investments, no nothing. Just putting money, repeatedly
So
deposits, and then can
for
withdraw at
for
any time.
someone like me, I hate to save because saving doesn't give me the value of my money at all. Like saving is like going
Well,
to buy a smartphone.
it depends on what
Let me
you're
give you an
saving on.
example. Saving, like what we know, saving in the bank is naira.
No,
No
it's not the
bank
bank.
will
You're
take.
saving in dollars in this one.
Wait first now. Um, Currently, you can't even save in dollars comfortably because they are changing stuff. They're always changing. They're moving the goalposts. I have a dollar. I have like $3 accounts. They're always
I'm
moving the
talking
goalposts.
of crypto, uncle. What are you
Hold
doing
on
saving
now.
in dollar
Wait
in the
first.
bank?
I'm
They'll
I'm
change
coming
goalposts
from.
before now.
Wait first now. Now, I am saving in naira is like
Okay.
buying a smartphone because I buy the phone today at a particular amount and I go to sell it as a used phone, the value drops.
Yes, true. But
So
you've
that is
used it.
how it feels. I've lost it. So for your products, what makes it different? And then is there an interest rate? What is the interest rate
The interest rate
for
is
saving?
calculated in the interest rate is calculated in the token. That's the no. Okay, so I'm saying how many percent can we gain on our savings. It's
Savings.
dependent. Yeah, it's dependent on the protocol. It's dependent on the amount that you're putting in. That's why I said rate is not set. We don't say okay, rate is 5% today or 7%. The protocol will calculate the different things, and there are factors that affect the rates. The total value that is locked in the protocol. How much are people putting into that protocol? That's one. Another thing is the total supply of the coin you are getting an interest on, which is CSA tokens. That's on that aspect. So, and then again, the time at which you are depositing. For example, if you are depositing at a time when the TVL is $100,000, if the rate is different from when TVL is $1 million because of two factors. On one factor is inflation. On that factor is increase in the asset value. That's the thing. Just like years ago, people could mine. Let me not give that example. Five digress. The percentage is not set. It's not set by us. So I can't say this is how much you will get. It's set by the maths and it's set by the amount of people who are depositing. But one thing I can tell you is the way I wrote the code, the way I wrote the protocol is such that it favor people who are early adopters over late adopters. Because by the time you come in when TVL is $100,000, when you do the calculation, the amount of CSA tokens you're supposed to get in reward, because the interest is in CSA tokens, it's not in your US dollar, it's not in the dollar that you're saving in, or the crypto that you're saving in. Want
Yeah.
people to save in stable coins because I've had experiences where I save on that token and market prices value, and that's why I really don't like DeFi because it cheats you in a certain way, and that's why I'm building this basically. It's basically cheating.
So
So
so what's the
so
advantage of Algorand of the Algorand blockchain?
security, it's unforkable, and it wasn't forked from Ethereum. It wasn't forked from any EVM compatible chain. For example,
Mm.
I can tell you forkable chains. Ethereum produced all the EVM compatible chains that we have: Polygon, BSC, what's this other one? IOTX. A lot of them. In fact, any chain that starts with OX, 0x, it's an EVM compatible chain, and they were all forked from Ethereum. Agran is different. Agran was never forked at all, built from scratch, and it solved the blockchain trilemma problem. That's what Agran did. So it's a secure chain that we can build on, and we don't have to inherit the problems of other chains like scalability issues when we have so much users. The main thing is that it's cheap to use. On Ethereum, if you were to run different DeFi protocols, you're paying fees like $3, $6. When the market is high, fees rose to as high as $100 for fee.
Wow.
So that can work on the Algorand chain. You're not going to be paying fees like that. And because I have a lot of people who will be using the protocols, fees are like 0.0000001 algos, which is in cents. Basically, the only fees you'll be paying are the contract fees for the protocol, for the BitSafe protocol, and that's just $1 per savings that you're creating, not per deposit. We're not charge people for per deposit. So
So
that's how it
KarlaGod,
works.
when is this product ready? When is this
Ah,
product going to be
I
in the
think I
market?
think I think November. I think November because building takes a lot of time. Right now we built the pseudocode. We built the pseudocode already. We're still testing at the moment. So what we now need to do now is train developers, and that's what we're currently doing. We actually have one called Borderless, where me and a friend we set up a hub to train developers for free in Africa.
Oh,
So yeah.
seriously, where is
So
that? Is
classes.
that in Port Harcourt or
No, it's
Abuja or
remote.
Lagos?
It's
Remote.
it's remote, yes. But I'm going to build a hub in Port Harcourt, a developers hub in Port Harcourt. We're already working out
That's
that to get
that's
funding.
insane.
So the more developers we have, the quicker it can come out. But I kid you not, even this November, I'm saying it with my fingers really 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 crossed. I hope by November it will be ready, but we're still building.
Don't worry, I'm a ninja. Just bring me in, I'll code everything for you with my mouth.
I hear you.
Emmanuel Jacob is back. Emmanuel, you look fatter. What's up? What did you go to eat?
I'm not fat,
Jesus
so.
Christ. You look it. Did you go out to eat something? Welcome back. Don't mind me.
No.
Welcome back. KarlaGod was just rounding
All
up. Do you have
right.
questions for KarlaGod? Then we can round up. We are already
Uh,
57 minutes into the show.
all right. So I think I have one question. So my question
Okay.
is, how do we get into BitSafe? Is there anything like maybe waiting list or something? Like how can
Okay.
someone get
Would
to join? How can someone get
okay. Would
updated when the product is
updated
readily available?
is ready. Okay. For now, just follow us on Twitter, CryptoSmart. Find us on Twitter, CryptoSmart. Waiting list will start from October. That's when waiting list will start from October because we don't want to start just having users now. We want at least let something be ready first. So by October we would have the website that's for BitSafe. We would have the tests area, so that's where people will be test the protocol, see what's up with it, how they can build whatever it is that they are building, how they can
I,
participate, and then that's where waiting list will start. But right now, all you can just do is follow us on Twitter first.
I don't
We
see
want
this
to
as
take
I
things
don't see this
properly.
as being fair. This is not fair. Because
We
I
just we just
know
want to take things
that there's
properly.
something,
What's
there's
the
benefit for early
difference?
adopters.
Yeah, but it's not starting to November, so we'll do waiting list by October and start
Okay,
by then.
let's amazing.
What's the Twitter handle?
Crypto Smart.
So, Mr. Manuel, put this Twitter handle on the screen so that we can see it and then copy.
Let me see if I can just check.
Put it on the screen to Twitter. Um,
Crypto Smart now. Sorry.
yeah, Crypto Smart on Twitter. That is it.
Crypto Smart now. It's actually Crypto Smart now. Now. Sorry, add the now to it.
Okay,
Okay.
it's Crypto Smart now.
Yes. So I've added it there.
All right.
Let me put the art.
So is there anything like maybe a Telegram group or something,
Yes,
maybe
yes, we
community
have a
for it?
Telegram group. Yeah, there's a community. Can we share it? Although most of the things you be hearing in our Telegram group is mostly dev talk, but it's still good. No, I'm saying sorry. It's still good that you join. Sorry, let me get it. I'm a bit distracted.
Crazy. So, guys, do you have questions? KarlaGod is still here. Now that you can get her for free, you should ask your question, because if she lives here now, you will not get her for free again, unless you want to apply for the tech hub where you learn stuff for free. But then she will use her iron fist. She has one iron fist like that.
Okay, so I've sent it. But you can just search on Telegram, Crypto Smart Community. It will come out.
Awesome. I'm following it right away. It's cryptosmart.algo, or
Yeah,
as
that's
cryptosmart
it.
now.
Yeah, that's it.
So I'm following it right away. It was insane. This session is mind blowing. I've learned so much.
Thank you.
Um, I wasn't expecting it like this, or would I say I was expecting it, but then I was now enjoying it. You know, when you're
Okay.
expecting something and you're enjoying it like exactly how you expected it, but then in the process it's blowing your mind. I don't know how you felt, Emmanuel Jacobs. Um, so that is it for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, KarlaGod. We do appreciate for
Thanks.
the value you've shared so far. I'm very grateful. I've learned a lot. Thank you so
So
much.
guys,
Thank you.
this is the second day of evolution in finance. You are seeing how money is evolving. You are seeing that money is evolving. Don't look at it like we are in a third world or we are in a growing economy. Every information is open to everybody. The person that seeks for the information gets the information, but most importantly is the person that acts on the information they get. So I don't want you to miss out on it. while you while you stay back, we are giving you an opportunity to stack this information yesterday, today, and then the final day tomorrow. I don't want you to miss tomorrow, because it's our grand finale, and then we have our gifts ready, like hot. We don't want to reveal the gift until tomorrow. So I hope you're set. Thank you.
All
Thank you,
right. Thank
guys.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
All right. Goodbye, all.
Mhm.